in programming, it's very often that you'll have a class that's used simply to hold data. And so what we might have is a class called person, and it has string and a last name of string, and it doesn't maybe even have a body. It just has no properties or anything, I mean, no functions or anything like that. So this is a person, and we may define person1 as P1, and we would say person, and we say if their first name is Donn and their last name is Felker. And I'm going to create two of these, so P1 and P2. Now, if I were to actually say, are these equal to each other? You might think, of course, that these are equal to each other. They have the same contents. They must be equal to each other. So let's run that here. And what we're going to see is that it's false. These do not equal each other. And if we are to print these out, we're going to see P1 and P2 actually have different little codes here at the end, which we can get to that in a later time, basically showing that, look, both of these objects are actually different. They're different. It's not actually comparing value equality inside of them. Now, thankfully, the language designers at Kotlin have thought about this and said, well, there are times when we just want to carry data around. And so if we have a class like that, you can then use what's known as a data class. And to use a data class, you'll just slap the word data at the beginning. And then you also have to have at least one parameter, and all parameters must either be val or var. And so we've added that here. And now we can actually say print line P1 equals P2. And if we run this, we'll see that both of these values are the same. And what will happen behind the scenes is it's actually comparing the values. Now, there's a couple of things that are making this happen. The Kotlin compiler is actually creating the overriding and creating the equals operator and the hash code operator, as well as the toString and a couple of other functions, which we'll talk about soon. So if we were to take a look at the equals and hash code is what's kind of helping us with the equality here. However, with the print line, we can actually, as we remember, print line will call the toString method by default. So we can say P1, and then what will happen if, let's actually go back a little bit here and take this off. If we run this just as this is, as a regular class, we'll see that we have, if we do a print line, we'll see person at 494766842. So it's not too helpful. However, if this is a data class, what you'll notice here is that the data class has a toString method, which is implemented for us, which is a very nice format here, which has person, first name, last name. And let's say we add the age inside of here. So val age int, and we'll put some numbers here, 30, and let's just do the same thing, 30, and we run it again. You'll see that the print line method also outputs that parameter. So it'll actually output each of the parameters as a value in the toString method. So this is all generated for us, the equals, the hash code, and the toString. And this is how you can create a data class inside of Kotlin. Now you can also have functions inside of here. So you might be able to say full name. And this is very similar to our other user object, which we've seen before. This will return a string. And this will be returned like this. We'll say return first name and then last name. And we can actually come up here and print the full name. And if we run it, we will see Donn Felker. And of course, we can have it do other things such as this, such as name length. If we want to have a method that perhaps returns an int, and all that does is full name.length. And we could do the same thing up here, full name or name length, and that will provide us the length of the name in characters. That's a character count, so 11. And that's how you can create a very simple class in Kotlin, a very simple data class in Kotlin, and how it can perform data equality and so forth.